Hi, I'm Steve Ott, editor of Kitchen Garden magazine, and we're at the Harrogate Autumn Flower Show looking at some of the wonderful fruit and veg on display. It's always a wonderful show in the autumn for fruit and veg, and there's a lot of competitions going on, giant veg, but also there's terrific fruit. And I've stopped at the stand of RV Roger of Pickering, North Yorkshire. They're here every year with a wonderful display, and they've won a Premier Gold again. Very well deserved. I'm here with David Patch, his nurseryman for RV Roger, and he's going to run me through a few of his favourite varieties. Now, you've got so many here, David, it's going to be very hard to choose, I imagine.
It is,
it's quite a tall order.
Yeah, it's a question I get asked a lot, what's your favourite apple or what's the best apple for eating, and it's very hard to pick one out, but we'll try and pick out a few highlights. And,
if you could, that'd be wonderful, yeah. And I'll be ordering my trees later, so yeah. Where should we start?
I think we should start with a variety called Lord Lambourn, so we'll just wander down here. Now, obviously, when you're picking a favourite eating apple, it depends very much. We always advise people on, it depends what day you want to eat it, whether you want early fruit to pick off the tree in August, September, or whether you want to store the fruit through the winter.
Right.
Because things picked in August might not be right for another month or two and won't taste their best. And it also depends a lot on people's taste. So some people, we always ask what they prefer when they're buying from supermarkets, just to give us an idea of their taste. So some people like a slightly softer, sweeter apple. A lot of other people like a harder apple with a bit of bite to it, like the Coxes. Lord Lambourn is a superb mid-season eater. It's an old English variety bred in the just pre-war, and it fits most people.
Right.
So as a general starting point, it crops really well. It's got a lovely bite to it. It's ready in October through to November, so it stores for about 8 weeks or so.
Right.
But it grows very well in all parts of the country. It's a very early flowerer. It's in flowering group A, but the blossom has very good frost resistance. So even if we get spring frosts, which we do, and where we are in Yorkshire, we get frosts all the way through the apple flowering season.
Right.
It still tends to set a very good crop. And so Lord Lambourn, it really is one of the first picks that I choose for most people, or would recommend for most people. It does very well. I can say that of everyone on the nursery, almost all of us grow it in our own garden.
Right, well that's certainly a recommendation then.
200 varieties,
yes,
so I can't say better than that. So that's Lord Lambourn.
Okay, first from the list. Gosh, you've got so many here.
A second choice to go for, if we wanted to, would be something that's slightly softer and slightly sweeter, which a lot of people spend. And again, we're going to just head up here.
Okay.
And we're going to go for a very old favourite that a lot of people will recognise, which is James Grieve.
James Grieve, even I've heard of that one. That's a lovely one.
So that's classed as a second early apple, September, October time, so it doesn't store quite as long. Fantastic juice, fantastic flavour on there. It was bred originally in Scotland, so it grows pretty much in all of the country. It's one slight drawback, and for once you're going to get a nurseryman mentioning the drawbacks rather than just singing the praises,
That's good.
is that it can get a little bit of scab.
Right.
In the wetter parts of the country.
Okay.
So if you're in Wales or Manchester over to the west of the Pennines, then it still grows well, and there are plenty of people that grow it, but you might just have to manage the scab on it a little bit in wetter years. But certainly for most of the country, it's a fantastic apple. And again, it just crops very well, blossoms, very good frost resistance. So again, a superb apple. A very nice choice.
What's your next one?
Well, I thought we'd go for, rather than an eating apple, I thought we'd go for a cooking apple.
Oh, right,
Just in
that's
that,
interesting.
And we'll go to this one here, to Harrogate Wonder. When we get customers come and ask for cooking apples, almost invariably, the only one that they've heard of and the one they want is a Bramley.
Yes.
The reason, Bramley's very good, but the reason it's ubiquitous and everywhere is because it stores so long. It stores through till March.
Right.
And that was the only way in the past of them having fruit available, because there weren't freezers. But these days there are other ways of storing the fruit. You can process it and freeze it. And Bramley actually can be a bit disease susceptible further north you go.
Right,
Certainly north of the Trent, north of where you are. then it can be a little bit problematic to grow.
Yeah.
Whereas Harrogate Wonder is a fantastic cooking apple. It'll still store through the winter, cooks superbly, crops its heart out, and the fruit that's small.
Really?
They'll get to 2 or 3 times that size.
Yeah, it's a beautiful colour too.
It's a superb apple, and I can't recommend it highly enough.
Would you need pollinators for that one? I guess you would, David, would you?
I will say to customers not to overly worry about pollination groups.
Okay.
There's a lot of people get hung up on it and choose their fruit according to the pollination group.
Right, yeah.
Don't do that. Choose the fruit on what you want to grow.
Yeah.
Pretty much pollination will take care of itself.
Oh, that's a lot easier.
There are plenty of bees about, there are plenty of crab apples about. Any other apple within a quarter of a mile will help pollinate your tree.
Oh, that's great advice.
So there's always something to rely on neighbours' gardens. The only caveat to that would be with pear trees, because pear trees generally, they're thinner on the ground. You can't rely on a neighbour having a pear tree.
True.
So, and pears aren't self-fertile, or most of them aren't self-fertile, and they set a poor crop if they're on their own.
Right.
So I would always plant 2 pear trees, unless you know of one nearby.
Right.
But with apples, I wouldn't worry about pollination groups.
Oh, good. Yeah, because that's always worried me, so that's put my mind at rest.
No, always start with what fruit you want to grow and eat. So whether you want and what you want to do with it. So for eating apples, or people who want to juice any excess. So they're looking to have all their fruit ready at the same time, so they can process it.
Yes.
A lot of other people want a small amount of fresh fruit to eat all through the winter.
Yeah.
So again, you'd have an early and mid, and maybe a couple of late storing ones to keep you going through. Some people are always away in September, don't want that. We deal with a lot of schools where they don't want any early fruit because they're all on holiday. So it's all thinking about what you want the fruit to do and when you want to pick it. And if you're armed with that information, then we can certainly help give you names of varieties that will do the job for you. So, and with cooking apples, you enter a whole different world there. So again, it depends on the cooking qualities with them. So whether they fall to a fluff, whether they keep their shape, whether you're going to be making baked apples, or there's a whole different thing, and they all have their own qualities, and they will all do a job for you. But it's about thinking what you want to do.
Wonderful, wonderful. So have you got any other favourites?
Yes, I have. What I would go for as well as a lovely mid-season apple would be Ingrid Marie, which is this one here.
Ingrid Marie.
We're moving away from English apples for once. This was bred up in Denmark, but it's very, very hardy and will grow anywhere in the country. And again, it's a mid-season apple, but it'll store through till Christmas time.
Oh, wonderful.
But it has a lovely bite to it, lovely flavour, and so disease resistant and hardy. It'll grow 1,000 foot up in the Pennines. It'll grow anywhere and set a really good crop for you, and a very good flavour. Really nice to eat, nice bite to it, crisp, full of juice. And as with all apples, we might as well mention, it's the sun that forms the sugars in the fruit.
I see, yeah.
So if you're growing a cooking apple, you can put it in the shade, and that doesn't matter. But for eating apples, they really want at least half a day's sunlight through the summer, so that the sun can form those sugars in the fruit, and you'll get the best quality dessert fruit. But Ingrid Marie is a lovely one.
Excellent.
I think I will also go for another cooking apple, but I will go for an early one. And what we'll go for here is Grenadier.
Ah, Grenadier.
So as I was mentioning before, there's no need really to store fruit as fruit these days, because you can freeze it. And or you can do, a lot of people are now drying fruit as well.
Of course, yeah.
Grenadier is ready end of August into September. It doesn't store around about 4 weeks, otherwise it starts to go a bit woolly. But it crops so heavily and so reliably year after year after year. It's not one of the trees that will have a year off to rest. And it cooks fantastic, very little sugar needed, and it is really a great early season cooking apple for everyone in the country.
Brilliant, lovely shape as well, the colour, do love that. Really nice.
If we go for an apple then that you can store through the winter, then probably one of the best ones would be Kids Orange Red. So just move in here.
Yes. Oh, lovely colour. Yeah.
Fantastic colour on it. They'll colour up even more. We pick our fruit quite early to come to the show here in September, but normally you'd leave these on the tree until October.
Yeah, yeah.
And they colour up beautifully. They'll store through till February, March time. And again, super fantastic, crisp flavour to it.
Oh, lovely.
Plenty of juice.
Yeah.
Really nice tree that will again crop in even the coldest positions.
Right.
So that's a really good one if you're looking to something to store through the winter.
Right, okay. That's lovely. And good for juicing as well.
Fantastic for juicing, yeah. Obviously with juice you can produce a blend. Most people would just pick what fruit is available and then blend it together.
Yeah.
But we're seeing more and more now that people are going for single varietal juices. For those, Discovery is a very nice early one. So that has a little pink tinge to the flesh. So the juice has a little raspberry, strawberry colour to it. Very nice. And another old-fashioned variety that juices very well is Egremont Russet.
Oh, that is my favourite apple.
That is a
I do like the
lovely
russets.
apple in the winter.
Yeah.
I might just cut it while I find it. They're up
up
at the back
the top there, yeah. I just love russets. I mean, I love the look of them. The sort of nutty sort of taste to them as well.
Fantastic, rich. You get some bitter orange in there as well when they're ripe. Lovely. But that again would be, you wouldn't want to eat that today. It would be unpalatable.
Right.
They're very sharp still.
Yes.
It would need at least another month on the tree, and then even from then another month in the fruit bowl.
Yes.
And that would just let the flavours fully develop in there. But again, superb apple for through the winter months.
Yeah. So I'm forgetting how early it is. So a lot of these, as you say, you picked them underripe, really. Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
And I think finally, I might go a little bit off-piste with you and move away from apples.
Yes, yeah.
Just as a choice for a fruit tree in a garden, I'd say why not think about a quince.
Oh, I say, right, okay.
So quince trees make beautiful ornamental trees for the garden. They really are. The foliage on them is a lovely light soft green. The blossom is huge pink single flowers on there, as pretty as any flowering cherry tree. Then you have the addition in autumn that you have the fruit hanging on the tree, and the tree laden with bright yellow quinces. These again are slightly underripe, but they will turn a bright yellow. You can't eat them raw, because we don't have the sun in this country to ripen them fully.
Yeah.
But they cook so well with apple. Quince and apple pie is the highlight of your winter months. And they also have a beautiful perfume. So even if you just leave a few in the fruit bowl, they'll fragrance your room.
Wonderful.
It really is a fantastic tree. If you're thinking you haven't got much room, we grow on a range of rootstocks. So there are trees that will only go 2.5, 3 metres tall. And we also provide traditional orchard trees that will get to 7 to 8 metres. But there's a tree for every garden.
Really easy to look after those?
Very straightforward. Again, they can get a little bit of marking on the leaf, but that's very easy to overcome. But other than that, the trees are very hardy. We grow on the edge of the North York Moors, and the trees are very hardy. So
wonderful. Oh, thanks for that, David. That's brilliant. And of course, it's a great time to be choosing fruit, isn't it, at the moment? Well, certainly apples and pears.
Now's the best time. We're coming up. There'll be apple events throughout the country as we get into October. So I'd thoroughly recommend people to look out and see what's on in their local area. Common Ground is a superb charity that looks after Apple Day in this country. And you're able to go see the fruit. For some events you can taste the fruit. It's very difficult to have a lot of ripe fruit available on the day. But there'll certainly be a host of events up and down the country for people to go and have a look and see and choose what varieties to put in their garden, because we're coming up to the planting time of year, November, December.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you very much, David. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all the top tips.